morning, Comfort Penguin. Haldo. Happy holidays, everyone. So, it's finally come to this. You've all waited long enough. You read the title of the video, so here it is. This is a Mario Odyssey. The live-action segment from the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. You know, the one where Mario and Luigi get a supercomputer called the HAL 9001 that also makes pizzas. Then they try asking for a bologna pizza, but instead get ones topped with shoes, golf pencils, and dog biscuits. I'm surprised you guys want me to talk about this so badly. I mean, isn't there like a game you'd rather see me talk about? Like... Oh. That Mario Odyssey. Alright. I don't see why not. I was pretty excited for it after all. I think everybody was. And we had a right to be. It was the first main series Mario game to come for the Nintendo Switch, as well as the first open-world sandbox-style 3D Mario game since Super Mario Sunshine. I was mesmerized when Odyssey was first revealed in January. All those different locations, all those experimental gameplay elements, and the overall size and scale of it filled me with a sense of wonder and astonishment. I haven't felt this way about a Mario game since Super Mario Galaxy 2 was announced back in 2009. It's taken 8 years for a new Mario game to verbally make me say, wow, this looks great, every time new footage was released. It was just the kind of Mario game I wanted to see but thought I'd never get, and nothing about it got me concerned or diminished my faith in it at all. So you can imagine my hype levels were pretty high. Building up to its release, I pre-ordered the game and the amiibo figures. I got the collector's edition of the strategy guide, which isn't entirely well written, but pretty cool all the same. Have you ever tried going swimming in a black pinstripe business suit? If you have, then you are extremely weird, and this is actually printed in the guide, by the way. This is not some editing trick. This is actually what was printed. Professionally, officially, I'm so confused that I invented a word. Officially! This is officially weird! I got this sweet Odyssey poster, and I even went to the launch event in New York City. I met CND, one of the best Nintendo YouTubers out there. There were these dancers performing Jump Up Superstar. I got these sweet postcards, some stickers for my laptop, and even my own Cappy. Thank you, Nintendo, for saving me an eBay purchase. Well, now that I've got all this stuff here, let's dive right into... Hi? Is there a problem? Yeah, you're reviewing a new Super Mario game without me. So what? We agreed that I would do the main reviews and you would do the quick smashes. Besides, we're the exact same person, so there wouldn't be a point in us doing the review together if we're both going to express the exact same opinions. I'm not asking to review the game with you, I want to do this review by myself. What? No way, I'm doing this review. Oh, come on. Cartoon Mark has been a staple of your Super Mario videos. That's how you got started making reviews in the first place. Because you didn't have a good enough camera to film yourself, and so you resorted to ripping off Gaijin Goomba. Plus, I haven't done anything for this channel since I did that quick smash on Spider-Man Homecoming back in July. Oh yeah. What were you doing all that time? Well, you know, just catching up with some old friends.
So... are you guys getting any of these before movie trivia questions right?
I'm just glad to know that I haven't been forgotten about just yet.
How about you?
Dagnabbit!
Wow. I never thought about that.
Turned out that entire movie was just nothing but trivia questions. And it surprisingly got better reviews than the Emoji Movie. Sorry, Cartoon Mark. I'm doing this review and that's final. Wait, don't you have to work on the Eddsworld fan movie? Merry Christmas. Much better. Now, before we get into this new 3D adventure, let's take a look back at Mario's previous 3D adventures.
Mario's 3D career began in 1996 with Super Mario 64 on the Nintendo 64. While it's a bit dated by today's standards, I still have a great time playing it. It revolutionized the 3D platforming genre and opened the door for a new series of adventures to come. Then in 2002, we got Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube, and while not an entirely bad game, it kinda seemed like a step backwards in terms of gameplay and structure. However, everything wrong with Sunshine was completely rectified with Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii in 2007. This game is often considered to be a masterpiece, and rightfully so. It had the best controls, the biggest soundtrack, the right amount of difficulty, and was as perfect as a 3D Mario game could possibly be. Then it was followed up with Super Mario Galaxy 2 in 2010, which added a wider variety of worlds, a wider range of musical styles, and was much more challenging and full of energy. Then a year later in 2011, Nintendo decided to slow things down a bit with Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS. It wasn't as big or grand as the Galaxy games, but was still a pretty solid game for what it is, one that I enjoy popping in from time to time. Finally, we got Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U in 2013. It's also a pretty solid game, but as console 3D Mario games go, it was a touch bit underwhelming and seemed a little unsure of what its main focus was.
That brings us to 2017. Super Mario Odyssey has been out for about 2 months now, and a bunch of you have been asking me when I was going to make a video about it. Well, since I always seem to review newer Mario games at Christmas, and seeing as how it's already Christmas, I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer. Let's see how well this game captures the magic of Mario. See what I did there? No? Well, you'll find out as we go along. Also, I've got a feeling that most of you watching probably don't own a Switch and have yet to play the game for yourselves. So if you choose to keep watching this video, be aware that there might be some major spoilers ahead. I'm just letting you know now, so that you can decide whether or not you want to keep this going. Are we good? Alright, let's move on.
The game begins in the skies above Princess Peach's castle, as this black screen with white text informs us. Suddenly, we're thrown into the middle of a fight between Mario and Bowser on board the Koopa King's airship. Why is Bowser dressed like a 1970s game show host? Well, not only is he set to replace Steve Harvey as the host of Family Feud, but he's also forcing Peach into marrying him and plans to travel around the world stealing valuable treasures from different kingdoms in order to put on the biggest wedding you can imagine.
Man, Mario just can't seem to get away from the forced marriage plot, can he? First there was Daisy and Tatanga in Super Mario Land, then we had a Super Show episode about Bowser forcing Peach to marry him called Do You Princess Toadstool Take This Koopa, then we had the same thing happen in the Super Mario Adventures comics, then we had Bowser forced into marrying Peach by Count Bleck so that he could create the Chaos Heart in Super Paper Mario, and now we have this.
I should mention, however, that when it was Bowser forcing Peach into marrying him, he always had a reason for it. In the Super Show, he did it so that he could rule the Mushroom Kingdom. In the Super Mario Adventures, he did it so that the Koopalings could have a mother to take care of them, which is actually kind of a respectable motive for him to have. In Odyssey, I think he's just doing it to mess with Mario. It's never really made clear, but that's just what I'm getting, and that's fine. I'm cool with Bowser having a superiority complex. My only minor issue with this cutscene is that there's no build-up to Mario and Bowser's fight. Super Mario Galaxy opened with Mario arriving at the Star Festival and then seeing Bowser violently storm the Mushroom Kingdom in his airship. While Odyssey's opening is much more to the point, and I like how it throws you into the action right from the start, having that build-up would have made it just a little more exciting. Luckily, things start to get interesting pretty quickly. Bowser knocks Mario into oblivion and sends his hat flying through the propellers of his ship, shredding it to pieces. And look, it's that same audio clip of Princess Peach screaming Mario's name that Nintendo's been recycling for 10 years now. Okay, I think they get the point. Mario wakes up in the Cap Kingdom, where he's greeted by a floating hat creature named Cappy. He informs Mario that Bowser invaded this land, destroyed their ships, and captured his sister Tiara, using her as Peach's wedding headdress. Later we find out that Bowser's also hired a new group of minions called the Broodals to keep Mario from interfering with the wedding. The Broodals consist of Topper, Harriet, Spewart, and Rango. Not that Rango. And they're gonna do everything in their power to stop Mario and his new friend. Nevertheless, Mario and Cappy decide to team up and take on Bowser together, with Cappy taking on the form of Mario's hat, thus giving him new abilities, which you'll hear about later. When they make it to the next kingdom, they come across a crashed airship that, if powered up, could be used as a means of transportation. After collecting enough of these new trinkets called Power Moons, they use them to repair the ship, called the Odyssey, and make it their mission to power it up even further. Catching Bowser is going to take a lot of power, so their world-round escapades are going to involve traveling from kingdom to kingdom, gathering even more Power Moons.
The plot is much crazier than what we've seen with games like 3D Land and 3D World. And while it may not be galaxy levels of deep, it's nothing less than exciting. What follows is a globe-trotting adventure that takes us to new places, introduces us to new characters, and throws an onslaught of surprises at us.
Okay, let's talk about gameplay, and just look at this. Look at this! Nintendo wasn't kidding when they said Super Mario Odyssey was going back to the roots of Mario 64. There's no flagpole, no linearity, no power-ups, no gimmicks for the sake of having gimmicks, none of that. These kingdoms are huge, and even though you have a clear objective, everything you do in each kingdom is entirely up to you. There's no set mission list like in Sunshine or Galaxy. It's like Breath of the Wild. You're put into a kingdom, and then you just go. But how do Mario and Cappy get to these worlds? Well, that's where the Odyssey comes in. You travel from kingdom to kingdom by selecting them on a world map, much like Galaxy 2. The Odyssey itself doesn't really serve as a hub world. In fact, Super Mario Odyssey doesn't even have a hub world of any kind. I don't really mind it though. The kingdoms are already so big, and with the way this game is structured, there doesn't seem to be a place for it. Since we're going all over the world instead of just the Mushroom Kingdom, every place we visit is distinctive and has its own aesthetic. The Cap Kingdom is a great starter level. It's the first new world that Mario explores, so it has a weird and mysterious look and feel to it, and the music fits it like a glove, even if it sounds more like something out of Kingdom Hearts. The Cascade Kingdom is a gorgeous environment that seems lush, organic, and really plays up the prehistoric aspect with fossils, stone carvings, and the inclusion of a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
It's good to know that Baby T from Crash Bandicoot 3 is still getting work. And puberty was clearly very kind to him.
The Sand Kingdom serves as the desert level with a Mexican flair. It's home to the citizens of Tostarena as well as Jaxi, a lion-sphinx hybrid that you can ride on to get around faster. The Lake Kingdom is such a peaceful place thanks to its calming atmosphere and soothing music. It's also different from other water levels in Mario games, with most of it taking place in the ruins of an underwater town. The Wooded Kingdom is the forest level with a steampunk factory built into it and a deeper, denser jungle right underneath. On your way to the Metro Kingdom, Mario and Cappy encounter Bowser in the Cloud Kingdom. This place isn't anything special, just some platforms in the clouds, and it's really only here for us to fight Bowser for the first time. After we beat him, Bowser strikes back and sends us crashing into the Lost Kingdom, where we have to use Power Moons to repair the Odyssey. It's a tropical area in the middle of nowhere with exotic creatures, including Klepto, who, just like in Mario 64, takes your hat and flies off with it. But don't worry, it's not too hard to get it back. Once we're back on our feet, we finally make it to the Metro Kingdom. This is my favorite level in the whole game. It's an urban playground perfectly made for Mario to run around and explore. I love the New York City influence, even though the new Donkers look more like they came straight from a PlayStation 2 game. You can ride around on a motor scooter. Mario gets this snazzy black suit and fedora. Swimwear. Sorry, strategy guide. It's officially correct. There are tons of Donkey Kong references, with the streets being named after characters from Donkey Kong Country, and on top of that, Pauline is the mayor. The Seaside Kingdom is another beautiful locale. The crystal clear water, the glass tower, the sunset, and there's even a volleyball minigame, which I totally didn't cheat at by taking advantage of the 2-player mode. Oh dear. The Snow Kingdom is pretty self-explanatory, but there's a little town underneath the snow that houses a racing area. The Luncheon Kingdom is a colorful food-based world where the lava looks like Pepto-Bismol, cheese is left out so long that it hardens into rock, Hammer Brothers throw frying pans instead of hammers, and utensils can live together in peace and harmony despite their differences. We can really learn a lot from these guys. The Ruined Kingdom is a decaying castle-themed area that we crash land into after getting blasted by Bowser riding in on top of a hyper-realistic dragon. Oh my god. Like the Cloud Kingdom, it really only serves as a backdrop for a boss fight. Bowser's Kingdom has gone through different interpretations over the years, but this one is probably the most unique. Apparently, Bowser's a very worldly individual because this land is themed after Japanese culture with temple-like structures and an 8-bit section that takes place inside of a folding screen. You just don't get this much creativity in video games often. There's one more kingdom left to talk about, but I'll save that for later. So, those are all the main worlds we have to explore, easily some of the best in 3D Mario. Outside of all the extra stuff there is to uncover, your goal is to collect enough power moons in each kingdom to power the Odyssey and move on to the next kingdom until you reach Bowser. Think of it as using power stars to power the Comet Observatory or the Starship Mario in the Galaxy games, only you have a lot more freedom to collect as many moons as you want in one sitting. Whereas previous 3D Mario games brought you back to the hub world after grabbing a power star or a shine sprite, collecting power moons in Super Mario Odyssey doesn't automatically take you back to the ship. Instead, you stay in the kingdom and are given the chance to go collect more moons. There's also a bunch of checkpoint flags everywhere, and touching them will mark them on your map. Selecting a checkpoint from here will then warp you to that spot, making exploration much more varied. Each kingdom has a significant amount of power moons to find. Some can have less than 10, while others can have close to 100. There's 999 power moons in general, and if it sounds like a huge undertaking, don't worry. There's an in-game travel brochure that keeps track of every moon you find in each kingdom so that you'll know which ones you're missing and which ones you already have. The brochure also lists everything you've captured, every souvenir you've bought, and there's even a music list so that you can listen to the game's soundtrack. That's awesome! If a brochure and souvenirs didn't add up to the game's theme of traveling, at any point in the game you can enter snapshot mode to take some very fascinating pictures. You can zoom in and out, change the angle, add the game's logo to any corner of the screen, tilt the camera to make a smartphone picture, and add a filter. Some of these include black and white, sepia tone, illustration, oil painting, and there are even NES, Game Boy, and Super Nintendo filters with limited color schemes. With all these options, you can capture some pretty epic shots, pleasant portraits, or even a few unintentionally hilarious moments. Collecting power moons is unfathomably and almost unhealthily addicting, and with the way these kingdoms are designed, power moons can be found in plain sight, or by digging a little deeper and uncovering some hidden secrets. The clues that you're given aren't too vague or too obvious either. Why is this air vent glowing? Why are these posters here after I already stopped the wedding? They're simple enough but puzzling enough to make you feel like a genius for finding the solution on your own. Sometimes you can even find power moons by complete accident, like I did in the Sand Kingdom. While I was fooling around behind some buildings in Tostarena, I found this secret entrance into a place that had a power moon I couldn't get to normally. That was certainly a pleasant surprise. Other times you can get a power moon by just doing something nice for one of the game's NPCs. One of my favorite examples of this is when this guy in the Metro Kingdom gives you a power moon for sitting next to him on a bench. Aww, it just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Not that fuzzy, I don't like that fuzzy. Like in 64, Sunshine, and the Galaxy games, Mario has a health meter again. Unlike those games, however, coins don't replenish your health, which really threw me off at first, but in hindsight would probably make things a little too easy since coins are literally all over the place. The coin counter doesn't just go up to the thousands for a reason. Plus, it wouldn't really make sense considering how the coins are actually used in this game. Instead, Mario replenishes his health by grabbing hearts, and Life Up hearts increase your health from 3 to 6, like the Life Up mushrooms in Super Mario Galaxy. Of course, running out of health will kill you like always, but Super Mario Odyssey handles deaths rather differently. You see, there are no lives in this game, so when Mario dies, this time he loses 10 coins and gets sent back to the last checkpoint. There's also no game overs, so even if you run out of coins, you're still sent back to where you left off.
Losing lives in video games has kind of become an archaic mechanic, so it's interesting to see Nintendo realize that. In fact, they already did something like this with Super Mario Run, which is a pretty fun game now that I've gotten to play it on my Android tablet. By not using lives or game overs, Super Mario Odyssey doesn't punish the player for making mistakes, but taking coins away also keeps it from holding your hand. It's a good compromise.
Mario has most of his traditional moves from the 3D games before. He has the triple jump, backward somersault, long jump, wall jump, ground pound, and he's even got the rolling ability from Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World. The dive maneuver from Super Mario Sunshine is also back, but it works a little differently. In early 3D games, you had to jump and hit the attack button while running to pull it off. In Odyssey, you have to jump, ground pound in midair, and then hit the attack button. It's a bit weird, and I think it could have been easier to use the X button to dive and leave Cappy on the Y button, but as it is, I was able to get used to it in time. The controls in general are pretty good, very simple and easy to get accustomed to, but from my experience, I found them to be a little spazzy in places. Galaxy 1 and 2 felt so precise, and I felt like I was in complete control of my movement. Mario feels more unpredictable in Odyssey. It's hard to explain, but during both of my playthroughs so far, yeah, I've beaten this game twice. I know, I'm crazy. There have been times where Mario would freak out a little when I try to get him to do something. I don't know if it's just me wanting to quickly pull off some cool tricks, but thankfully this doesn't happen a lot. Super Mario Odyssey also has motion controls, which the game encourages you to use quite a bit, but they're not very good. In the Galaxy games, they were super tight and responsive, but here they're a bit too loose. You're supposed to shake the Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller in the direction you want to throw Cappy, but if I try to throw him above me or below me, he'll either go in a completely different direction or just spin around me. And as someone who prefers using the Pro Controller over the Joy-Cons, the motion controls can be extremely awkward. Aside from some issues with the motion controls, Cappy will be your best friend for the entirety of the game. Mario can throw him like a frisbee and use him to break crates, pluck wooden slabs out of the ground, or hold him in place and jump off of him like an extra platform. Like I briefly mentioned before when talking about the Seaside Kingdom, Super Mario Odyssey has a co-op mode where one player controls Mario and the other player controls Cappy. It might be helpful in some situations, and having it kinda makes sense with the Mario and Cappy dynamic, but it's nothing you should write home about. I apologize if the footage looks awkward at all. I didn't have anybody to use the co-op mode with, so I'm just doing this by myself. I know, I'm very, very sad and lonely and pathetic. Let's just keep going. Now let's talk about the bowler hat wearing elephant in the room and question how it got here in the first place, why it's wearing a bowler hat. I have too many questions to even bring up about that. Forget it. Cappy gives Mario the ability to possess, or capture, enemies and objects of all shapes and sizes, and you'll know it's Mario if it sports his trademark hat and mustache. There are some things that can't be captured, but ones that can give Mario access to a wide assortment of new abilities. You can travel across a pool of lava as a lava bubble, swim through the ocean as a Cheep Cheep, charge through hazards and obstacles as a charging Chuck, for only 1 or 2 sections in the whole game, or destroy everything in your path as the T-Rex. This silly little mechanic transforms Super Mario Odyssey from a fun pick-up-and-go adventure into something much greater. With all the dozens of entities available to take control of, so many possibilities open up for how you traverse through a kingdom and what new secrets you can find. You also get a sense of what it's like being in these characters' shoes. Being a creature like Glydon is pretty sweet when you get to glide around, but being a Hammer Brother is tough when you can only throw hammers in random directions. And during one section in particular, being Bullet Bill is even tougher when you have absolutely terrible controls. When I came to this area in the Sand Kingdom, I had to capture a Bullet Bill to progress, and when I would try to make him go left and right, he would either turn in the opposite direction or just not turn at all, no matter how much I mashed the analog stick.
What's really weird, though, is that when I went back to this section again after recording my footage, I didn't have these problems anymore. I don't know if there was a patch or a software update that I didn't know about, but now the controls were perfectly fine. I could steer him in the direction I wanted him to go, and there were no issues. But that doesn't make up for all the deaths I experienced. Seriously, I've lost so many coins in this level that now I can't even afford to buy food for my poor starving comfort penguin.
I guess I could pay for it with regional coins. Odyssey technically brings back the purple coin concept from Super Mario Galaxy, where, for the most part, you collect up to 100 purple coins in each kingdom, but it doesn't work the same way here. These regional coins are unique to each kingdom. They act as a form of currency, like regular coins, and you can only use a given kingdom's regional coins in that kingdom. But what is there to buy with the coins you get? Well, look no further than Crazy Cap. Located in each kingdom is a Crazy Cap store, and here you can use the coins you've collected to purchase things like souvenirs, life-up parts, power moons, and different outfits for Mario to wear. Souvenirs range from stickers plastered on the exterior of the Odyssey to little trinkets added to the interior. You don't get to place them wherever you want, but I love seeing my collection gradually expand. It all serves as a reminder of how many places I visited and how varied and different they are. The outfits that Mario wears are all awesome. Most of them are new to this game, like the football uniform, the black pinstripe suit, and the sailor outfit.
Oh, hello, sailor!
But others are taken from different parts of Mario's past. Super Mario Maker, Mario Paint, Yoshi's Cookie, Mario's Picross, NES Open Tournament Golf, Dr. Mario, Super Mario All-Stars, Famicom Grand Prix 2 3D Hot Rally, and I think the aviator and spacesuit outfits are supposed to reference the Mario Land games. While some outfits can either be confusing like the Diddy Kong suit, or downright disturbing like the skeleton suit, there are also more obscure ones like the scientist outfit taken from a Super Game Boy commercial, the fashionable outfit from one of those Japanese new Nintendo 3DS commercials, and the poncho and sombrero, which are apparently racist despite them being used to protect people from harsh weather conditions, are both taken from the Game Boy version of Kix. You can even have Mario wear Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi's outfits. It's like in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, where you can change Mario's color scheme with the L and W emblem badges. Hey, any love for Thousand Year Door, I will totally take. The outfits aren't just to make Mario look nicer though, because there are some parts of the game where you can't get into a certain area without wearing a specific outfit. This construction worker in the Metro Kingdom won't let you in unless you're wearing the Mario Maker outfit. This Toasteranian won't let you in without the poncho and sombrero. You can't get into this area in the Wooded Kingdom without wearing the Mario's Picross outfit. I think this is kinda cool, mostly because you're occasionally rewarded with a power moon, so why not dabble in a little bit of worldly cultures? Do you just want to go for moons that are easier to find? Well then, don't expect to find them all on your first try. But when you get stuck trying to find any power moons and need some hints, you have 3 different options. Talkatoo gives you the name of a mission to clue you in on how to find a certain power moon, and I'm sure it would be funnier if he made screaming noises. And then there's Hint Toad and Uncle Amiibo. By paying him 50 coins, Hint Toad will mark a location on your map to give you an idea on where a power moon is. Uncle Amiibo works the same way, except you tap in an Amiibo figure instead of paying with coins. And by scanning in certain Amiibo, like these awesome wedding figures, he'll even give you special costumes related to those figures, like Bowser's tuxedo and even Peach's dress.
Nintendo wouldn't put same-sex relationships in Tomodachi Life, but apparently they're okay with cross-dressing. Actually, with them being a Japanese company, that kinda makes sense.
The Super Mario Odyssey amiibo also makes some pretty special things happen in the game. The Mario amiibo gives you temporary invincibility, the Peach amiibo gives you a life-up heart, and the Bowser amiibo shows you where some regional coins are, indicated by a purple ring that focuses on them. These figures are so well made, and I love using them in the game. Except when my Pro Controller doesn't recognize them for some reason. Now, every kingdom doesn't just have power moons for you to collect, but there are some smaller secrets to find, like these 8-bit sprites of Cat Mario and Cat Peach that give you either coins or hearts when you throw Cappy at them. Each kingdom also has different special activities to partake in, the New Donk City Festival being the first one that comes to mind. It's a kingdom-wide celebration where Mario travels through a whole Donkey Kong-themed 8-bit section to get to Pauline, who's performing Jump Up Superstar on the roof of a building. There's this group of Koopa Troopas called the Roving Racers that invite you to take part in running matches, almost like you're racing 4 smaller versions of Koopa the Quick from Mario 64, or if the Koopa brothers from Paper Mario took up a competitive sport. There are time challenges where throwing Cappy at a scarecrow makes a power moon and some strange platforms appear, and you have to make your way to the power moon before it and the platforms disappear. A female Goomba named Goombette is also found in each kingdom looking for love, and you can get a power moon from her by capturing a Goomba and walking up to her. There are the RC cars and jump rope challenges in the Metro Kingdom and the volleyball challenge that I brought up before. You can also capture a Lakitu and go fishing to catch some Cheep Cheeps. You see this Sonic Adventure? This is how you incorporate fishing into a platformer. Sometimes you might even come across good old Captain Toad, who will reward you with power moons upon greeting him. I was already satisfied with Odyssey returning to Mario 64's explorative gameplay, but even with all the stuff I just mentioned, there were so many other surprises waiting for me that put me on the edge of my seat. Highlights for me are when I found myself being chased by the T-Rex in the Metro Kingdom, and when I first saw Bowser come riding in on the ruined dragon. I couldn't even believe what I was seeing. Moments like those delighted me and got me so pumped for what was coming next, more so than a lot of other Mario games. and I had the biggest, dopiest grin on my face when I found the 8-bit section in the new Donk City movie theater. This is just awesome. Even if it's a little silly for people to watch me playing a video game while I'm inside the video game. Alright, it's about time I talked about these. Some levels won't just limit you to traveling in the third dimension, because going through these blocky looking warp pipes will have Mario travel across a wall in an 8-bit, two-dimensional style, similar to Link's wall merging technique in The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. These 8-bit sections are incorporated brilliantly. They're not just there to tickle your nostalgia, it's just another means of getting around. It's so clever that way. And the music even changes styles as well, going from the regular sound to an 8-bit remix. Oh, that's so cool. But for how strange and experimental Super Mario Odyssey can be, it still has its fair share of smaller platforming challenges that'll make you feel more like you're playing a Mario game. These levels are great. They're fun, they're not too easy or too difficult, they incorporate several of the game's mechanics in very inventive ways, and there's just the right amount of them so that there's no too little or too much of them. Super Mario Odyssey includes enough of these obstacle courses to balance out the platforming and make the gameplay less stale, something that Super Mario Sunshine could have easily benefited from. And although Cappy is the biggest asset to Mario's journey, there are some parts of the game where you don't use Cappy at all, like how the obstacle courses in Sunshine required you to complete them without using FLUDD. I love platforming skill tests like these. They make sure you don't depend on Cappy too much and are welcomed in my book. If all that wasn't cool enough for you, you can also travel through paintings just like in Mario 64. Every single kingdom has a painting hidden somewhere on the map, and entering it will take you to a secret area in another kingdom that would be impossible to reach normally unless you have the checkpoint marked on your map. And this scene of Mario traveling through a painting reminds me a lot of when Mario entered the parallel Brooklyn in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, while flying through a Doctor Who title sequence.
Much like Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey seems to break away from some traditional aspects of its series. But if there's one tradition that it chooses to stick with, it's having the boss battles be really easy. Not as much as 3D Land or 3D World, but still pretty easy.
None of the Broodals gave me a real challenge, and if they did, it was more so because of me and not the fight itself. Later, when you have to fight them again, it's just their original boss fights, but slightly different. What is it with Nintendo and recycling boss battles in Mario games nowadays? But I'm willing to forgive them thanks to the other bosses. Madame Brood is pretty cool, definitely more interesting than the Broodals in terms of her fight. You capture her pet Chain Chomp and fling it back in her face, and it's hilarious. Robo Brood is pretty cool too. The Broodals get in this giant Megazord robot to try and take down Mario, and beating it requires the most planning out of all the bosses in the game, since you have to find which angles to launch the bombs at its legs. Outside of those two, all the other major bosses also require you to capture certain enemies or objects to defeat them. The Knucklo-Tech fight is awesome, but for some reason reminds me of the I-Rock boss fight from Mario 64. Maybe it's because they both involve hands. Torque Drift's boss battle gave me a lot of Galaxy vibes. He has a visible weak point that's only accessible once he flips over, like Dig-a-Leg in Super Mario Galaxy 2. Still a great fight nonetheless. Mecha Wiggler looks nothing like a Wiggler, but I love how different his fight is from other bosses, requiring you to capture a tank to shoot at its body, and it's really fun. And you want to know what this tank is actually called? Sherm. Like Sherm Cohen, storyboard artist for SpongeBob SquarePants? Sherm Chavour, the swimming coach? Sherm Feller, the sports announcer?
Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
Here's another boss with an even cooler name, Brigadier Mollusk Lancier III. Oh my. Not only does he have the coolest name of any Mario villain ever, but his fight is sorta like Petey Piranhas in Super Mario Sunshine, where you have to take him down while he's flying through the air. Cookateel may look like a distant cousin of Wingo, not Ringo, from Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, but swimming up her lava breath to bonk her on the head while in a giant pot on top of a volcano? It's goofy, but in all the right ways. Ruin Dragon is one of the craziest bosses ever put in a Mario game, purely based on his design. The fight itself is pretty straightforward. Avoid his lightning attacks, remove the Bowser piece on top of his head, and give him a good bonk. Then we've got Bowser himself. We face him one-on-one and have to beat him up with his own top hat, which of course comes equipped with boxing glove arms. It has the right amount of silliness and the right amount of seriousness, which is more than what I can say for Super Mario 3D World.
For real though, Cat Bowser, is just too silly. Look at him. He makes Cuphead look like some twisted Bill Cipher monstrosity. Then again, his head is a cup, so that's already kind of off-putting. I mean, what happens if he trips and falls over? Does his brain fall out? Okay, I think I should stop ruining video games for everyone. I'll leave that to game theory.
So remember when I said there was one more kingdom to talk about? You probably don't, considering how long this video's been going on for. Well, after fighting Robo-Brood in Bowser's Kingdom, we make our way to where Bowser's wedding is taking place. The Moon Kingdom. Simply put, it's the moon. Low gravity, eerie music, and, as you'd expect, a wedding chapel. Maybe that's where Neil Armstrong got married. What I love is that the moon's core is all volcano-themed, like what you'd expect from a Final Bowser level, and the regional coins here are shaped like star bits from the Galaxy games. But the real action takes place at the chapel. When Mario makes it there, he bursts through the doors as the ceremony takes place, now sporting a very snazzy-looking tuxedo, and finds all the people he met on his adventure. Bowser sends Mario falling through a trap door for one last battle, and it's basically the same fight from before, now with flaming spike balls along with retro castle balls. Of course, Bowser gets pummeled, somehow losing his clothes and comb-over in the process, and Peach and Tiara are rescued, but then everything starts to fall apart. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and in the most amazing turn of events you can think of, Mario captures Bowser and slashes his way through the rocks with Peach on his back in order to escape. This is one of the greatest final levels I've ever played in a Mario game. I am not kidding. It uses the game's main mechanic in a completely unexpected way. It has everything from an epic set piece, an 8-bit section, even though Bowser and Peach don't have their modern colors when Mario normally does. And another Pauline song plays while this is happening, which has a lot of energy to it and is very enjoyable, even if it sounds more like it belongs in a Sonic game than a Mario game. So they make it out safely. Mario and Bowser both try to propose to Peach, but she rejects them and makes her way to the ship, possibly trying to leave them stranded on the moon. Bowser I can understand, but why Mario? He was the one who traveled all around the world just to save you. At least that stupid theory about her having Stockholm Syndrome is no longer valid.
Your move, Internet!
And that brings us to the end of Super Mario Odyssey. Or at least the first half of it. If you thought the game was over, then think again. After rescuing Princess Peach, she and Tiara will go traveling on their own and visit all the kingdoms we've been to before, wearing different outfits each time, which are all equally adorable. All throughout the game, you also might have noticed these big silver cubes in each kingdom. Well, these are actually moon rocks. After beating Bowser in the Moon Kingdom, these moon rocks become breakable, and destroying them makes even more power moons appear in whatever kingdom you break them in.
All the endgame stuff there is to do, if you can believe it, makes up half of the entire game. There's a lot to do after finishing the main quest. But I have to ask, where's Luigi?
My baby!
Oh, wait, that's just Mario wearing Luigi's clothes. Come on, that doesn't count. For real though, you could play as him in Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2, 3D Land, and 3D World, so why did they just leave him out again? And besides, if I can't unlock him as a playable character, then what do I get for collecting all the power moons? Oh. Well, that's kinda lame.
To the game's credit, it doesn't urge you to go for 100% like New Super Mario Bros. 2 did with its 1 million coins marketing. So having Odyssey let me go my own pace instead of wanting me to get every power moon, thereby making me think I'm gonna get something cool for it, makes the completion bonus less frustrating for me. At least I had fun on my journey, which is more than what I can say for some other games. And hold up, that's Peach's Castle.
So, does that mean...
Yep, after the credits, you can now travel around in the Mushroom Kingdom, specifically anywhere near Peach's Castle. I guess that means no Toad Town or Mario's house then. There are more challenges, like this picture matching game. You can jump into these paintings and have a rematch with every single boss, all with some slight differences, like covering the platform in the Ruined Kingdom fight with ice. And if you go inside Peach's Castle, Toadette will be there to give you power moons based on certain achievements you make, like how many coins you've collected or how many times you've thrown Cappy. And yes, you're seeing that right. The power moons in the Mushroom Kingdom are replaced with power stars.
Guys, I might have been able to hold back on a fanboy freakout for the majority of this video, but if I keep it in any longer, it's probably gonna kill me. So, I have to let it out. I apologize in advance.
This game is incredible. New Donk City. Look at all the billboards. They're using artwork from the original arcade game. This city is gorgeous, and the music is so freaking good. Pauline is the mayor. Pauline is the mayor. And you can find her stuff lying around too, just like the original arcade game. Look, Mario's in his classic colors. Jump Up Superstar, Sweet Ancients of Gallifrey. This song is awesome. Pauline, you have such great taste in music. Oh my god, it's the Mario Paint outfit. It looks so great. I love Mario Paint. Bowser's riding on a dragon and it looks like Smaug from The Hobbit. Peach is wearing a bikini. DeviantArt confirmed for Smash. Mario has a caveman outfit and I can wear my normal hat with it. Granddad is now officially canon. Holy crap, I can capture Bowser! Look at me! I can slash through the rock and I can breathe fire! This is the most amazing final level in a Mario game ever! The Mushroom Kingdom! So much. Yes! I can go to Yoshi's house like in Super Mario World, and Yoshi's on the roof of the castle like in Mario 64, and I can capture him! He plays just like he does in Super Mario 64 GS, and he can wall jump with his tongue! I mean, I would have preferred to ride him and take him with me, but he's wearing Mario's hat. He's got the mustache. It's so cute. You can buy a Mario 64 suit. Look, it's his original model for Mario 64, and the power moons are replaced with power stars, and it makes the jingle. You know, you can jump into paintings. Even makes the sound too. Look, it's the castle courtyard. Oh my god, the new Donk City Cafe music is a remix of the theme from Super Mario World. It's so good, I can't even stand it.
Okay, I think I'm better now. So, overall, what's my verdict on Super Mario Odyssey? Well, I can proudly say that this is easily one of the best Mario games I've played in years. I mean, I haven't seen a Mario game packed with this much content since...
For years, I've said that my favorite 3D Mario game was Super Mario Galaxy 2. And as of right now, I'm not sure if I'm ready to pass that title onto Super Mario Odyssey just yet. And when it comes to Mario games overall, my love for Super Mario World is way too strong for me to bump it out of my #1 spot. But think about this, both Odyssey and Galaxy 2 follow different styles of gameplay. One's a fast-paced, mostly linear adventure, and the other's a huge open-world collectathon platformer. Honestly, I do prefer Galaxy 2's gameplay a little more for its high energy and better controls. But in terms of the overall experience, Super Mario Odyssey delivers non-stop fun and oozes with charm. This game is fantastic, and I'm so happy that I can say that. You have no idea. After years of Nintendo putting Mario games on the shelves that have been examples of them either playing it safe, not trying hard enough, or completely forgetting how to make a proper sequel, twice, it's wonderful to get a Mario game that's not afraid to try different things, packed with tons of content, and had a great deal of passion and effort put into it. And with it being on the Switch, we now have a console-quality 3D Mario game on a portable system. Oh my god, that is amazing. The presentation remains consistent whether at home or on the go. Graphically, this game is gorgeous. The color palette is rich, Mario's new idle animations that vary from world to world give him much more personality, and for the most part, the frame rate stays at a steady 60 frames per second. The soundtrack is one of the better collections pieced together for a recent Mario game. Not all of it's very memorable, but a good majority of the music in this game comes extremely close to Galaxy quality. The Cascade Kingdom's theme is very big, grand, and adventurous, not seeming out of place in Galaxy 1 or 2. I love the Metro Kingdom's theme, it's so catchy and jazzy and upbeat. I must have heard Jump Up Superstar at least 1,000 times now, and I still love it. This song is so popular that they even printed the lyrics on the inside of the box. They're honestly some of the corniest ever written for any song I've ever heard, but the music is great, I love how it samples the theme from the original Donkey Kong, and Kate Davis's performance as Pauline is phenomenal. Fun fact, she was also the voice of Tails in Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, and Sonic Lost World. Who knew she could sing so well?
What else can I say about this game that every other person in the world hasn't already said? Well, there is one thing. Super Mario Odyssey, for me, is pretty much what Sonic Mania should have been.
Because Sonic Mania was made to be a complete throwback to the classic Sonic games, it ended up being something that could only be enjoyed by classic Sonic fans. What with it relying too much on nostalgia and fan service, alienating those who aren't huge fans of the series like me, and leaving all the problems from the original Sonic games untouched. Super Mario Odyssey definitely has its moments of nostalgia and fan service, and as a bigger Mario fan, they're predictably gonna hit closer to home for me, but those moments are used sparingly and carefully. The 8-bit sections, for example, are done so that they can be both an exciting throwback for hardcore fans and an interesting game mechanic that newer casual fans can enjoy without having to understand the reference. By returning to Mario 64's sandbox-style 3D platforming and changing or removing certain aspects of it, Nintendo successfully managed to take an old gameplay concept from 20 years ago and update it to meet the standards of gamers today. Playing Super Mario Odyssey in its entirety has given me that same magical feeling I got from playing Super Mario Galaxy for the first time. I was hooked and amazed throughout the whole adventure, and there was never an aspect of the game that left me wanting more, with one exception. In the past few years, my faith in the Mario franchise has lowered significantly, but Super Mario Odyssey shot it right back up, and it's assured me that the plumber's got more surprises to pull out of that hat of his. Wait, Mario's not a plumber anymore? Screw you, I'm gonna keep calling him that. What, next you're gonna tell me that Miiverse is dead? That's stupid. This game serves as a reminder of why I've been a dedicated Mario fan for so long, despite all the trials and tribulations. Mario games have their own special qualities that many have tried and failed at replicating. They're emotionally involving, they each have something different to offer, and they're the source of many great memories for kids and adults alike. No matter who you are or where you come from, Mario always stays with you, never leaving or betraying you. Except when he does.
Super Mario Odyssey is a perfect example of what makes Mario so special. It's not something that can be explained or maybe even needs to be explained. It's something you feel. It's a feeling that warms your heart and brings a smile to your face, much like the holiday season. It's a feeling that sticks with you for your entire life. And that's gotta mean something. Or maybe I'm just overly sentimental, but who knows. Hey, Cartoon Mark? It's been however long this text I'm gonna edit in later says it's been. There we go. Are you done yet? Yeah, pretty much. How much work did you get done on the movie? Well, I actually didn't do any work. You see, once I very girlishly ran out of the room and almost slipped and killed myself, I realized that it was Christmas, so I decided to go out and have some fun. What did you do? Well, you know, just catch up with some old friends.
You should really put me in more of your videos.
If you say you won't dress up as Harley Quinn again, I might consider it.
I make no promises. Dadgummit!
Anyway, I'm done for the day, so get out of that chair. Fine, but I'll be back in the next one. I'm sure you will. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to what could possibly be the longest review of Super Mario Odyssey ever made. Some might say needlessly long, but I have a lot of stuff to talk about. Well, I had a lot of stuff to talk about, so can you really blame me? Whew. If you actually made it to this point, it really, really means a lot to me, so thank you. 2018 is going to be an interesting year, I'm sure. So for now, this is Mark, aka Marc Lovallo, wishing you a happy holidays and bidding you all a smashing farewell.
I had Christmas down in Africa.